Hi. Is anybody out there? Oh, computer screen's a little weird. There we go. Well, I don't know if anybody's going to tune in. I'll give you guys a minute. Yeah, have some updates, but we'll wait until people have shown up and we can have some chatting. All right, sound check. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Let's see here. Nobody's there. There was somebody there for a whole second. Do. Is anybody out there? Okay. Doodle-doo. Hello. Looks like somebody's maybe there. Hey, Rob. Hey. I appreciate your constant support. That's nice of you. Can you hear me okay? It feels like I can see my audio being picked up here. Okay, good. Very good. Well, all right. Looks like it's one-on-one conversation. Yeah, Rob, per what you and I were kind of briefly chatting about there on the twits, about what I studied in school and how it may or may not have assisted me in my author career. I tell you, I appreciate your perspective. So there's maybe a little bit less, second guessing for me. But it's tempting to wish that I'd looked into marketing or digital marketing or something because, I haven't been good at writing my whole life, but I've been good at doing the writing task my whole life. And I, that's the kind of thing that's most conducive to learning to write. So I feel like definitely critiques are good and stuff, but man, the critiques I was getting in college at BYU were largely useless for me, except for one class. Well, maybe two. I could say two. John Bennion was a really good writing teacher. He taught me how to write good personal essays and he helped me find a nonfiction voice. And Marion Doc Smith was my creative writing teacher for a semester. He didn't like what I wrote mostly. I don't know why he didn't like it so much, but he just wasn't a huge fan. But he was a good guy anyway. But he also did give some good critiques. But I think as you write and don't stop, you get better at writing good stuff. As long as you're able to be critical of your own stuff and honest with yourself and feel, stretch. So I don't know. So I don't know that I got a whole lot out of my college education to help my writing skills. So I just kind of wish that maybe I'd gotten somewhere that would help my business skills. But, as you were saying, Rob, there's probably, you've said that there's videos out there that I could study. And so, obviously that's something that I'm going to have to dig into because I'm trying to turn this into a real business. I want to be a real business, like Pinocchio, a real boy. Yeah. So anyway, I'm writing a lot. Quick update is that I'm writing a lot, and making good progress. I hit 60 something thousand words on the book called Carry Your Heart, which is book 4 in my contemporary fiction, fairly autobiographical series. As the series has gone on, it's gotten less autobiographical and more inspired by true events, and then just writing what I know. So there's a lot of people, there's a lot of kind of archetypal sort of events that happen to me that are happening to the characters in these books. But it's nah, the actual plot and story that's unfolding is not the actual plot and story of my life. Although thematically, it's 100% is. So, okay. Business school, everyone who was entrepreneurial quit second year to start. Fair enough. Fair enough. Wow. It's interesting to sink that kind of money into business school and then not finish it. But that's me too. I went and I started a master's program in 2005 at BYU and I'd forgotten how much I hated school. I'd been out of school for only a couple of years because I graduated. I finished at the end of 2002 and graduated in spring of 2003 just because I wanted to walk with my wife. And I didn't like it very much. I like learning a lot. I love learning. But I don't like the rigid somebody else's structure dictating my life to me aspect. And the hoop jumping, always had a big case of stick it to the manitis. So I didn't like it. And so I went back to school and had 2 semesters of my master's degree and quit. So I get that maybe. And I quit at a really stupid time. And then I went back to it as the ongoing economic crisis of 2008, 2009 was ongoing. And that helped us get through actually and helped us chart a new path forward for our finances and for my career for quite a while until I left, which is great. So anyway, yeah, school's fine. I get being entrepreneurial. I wasn't aware of how, a lot of us, I think, weren't aware of how entrepreneurial we'd have to become if we want to be successful authors. And I am by no good measure a successful author. Well, by every real measure of successful author, I am not successful except for one, and that is the fact that I haven't given up and I keep writing good books. So that's nice. Anyway, so I guess we didn't really know. None of us knew. A lot of people have been more agile and nimble as they've learned how to use the system, how to make the algorithms work for them through, I guess, Facebook ads and Amazon ads and crap like that. I tried to use both of those with varying degrees of success. Honestly, don't have recommendations for publishing. I had success chat, but my model is gone. Why did I sell yourself and self-pub? Yeah. And the way to sell yourself and self-pub is to find your market and go hard on it and focus on that market. It sounds like that's like a big key, at least from what I'm hearing from the people I'm seeking out to help me with this. And then, make sure you treat it like a business, among other things. Be diligent in learning to market and sell and stuff. And really the people who are being wildly successful have found that they can be passionate and be excited about writing things that are directly to a hungry market. And a lot of that hungry market is in the romance area. Elena Johnson, she really likes writing her cowboy romances, and they're making her buckets of money because she's found a passion that she really likes to do it, and the hunger for it is apparently non-fetching stop. So good on her. I'm dabbling in other market actually. So the Finding Home series, which was just a standalone book called Beyond the Cabin for a long time, so it wasn't even a series, it was just called Beyond the Cabin, which is very autobiographical. It's probably 90% true. Yeah, maybe 85% true. Anyway, that sat alone for a long time while I did my spec fix stuff. And then, it kind of distilled on me over a few months, maybe a year or so, that there was more I could write. So Beyond the Cabin became In the Cult, trying to transcend it and live my own life in it, and Finding Home, the book, which is the name of the series as well, became me getting out and having a reason to get out and moving on with life. And then I realized as I finished that book, I was like, you know what, I'm done. The series is good. But within months, scenes were coming to me in the shower of like, wait, maybe there is more. Because there has been more. Obviously, my life didn't stop soon after I got out of the cult. It's gone on since. And so there's been a lot of really interesting things to explore. The third book, Worlds Apart, is pretty hard. the goal is to tell an interesting, compelling story full of characters who with objectives that you can resonate with, and with um, a story that people will enjoy and feel engaged in. And at the same time, the story I'm telling is about these two young people who have been abused their whole life, and who are discovering the extent of that abuse and the extent of the cost that they have from that abuse. The score that the body has kept, you could say, to take the name from that book. Um, and then trying to cope with it and deal with it, and trying to be in love at the same time. And it's not working. So that was a really interesting book to write for me. And then the last one is Carry Your Heart, because I really like happy endings. So I believe that everybody's going to get a happy ending in life, um, or in existence, I should say. So I'm down with happy endings, and I will write them unashamedly and unabashedly. Um, anyway, so I guess we've got Rob and one other person here. Whoever's here, I appreciate you being here. Thank you. I won't go for a half an hour today. I'll just kind of give an update on one or two more quick things and then roll out of here. And if you want to ask questions, you can. One quick update is it's LTUE weekend. So Thursday, today, Friday, Saturday, LTUE, Life, the Universe, and Everything. It's a symposium conference thing. Sorry, I keep kicking my desk. I should stop rattling so I'm not shaking, earthquakey like. It's been around for a long time. It was basically driven by a writer at BYU, a writing teacher at BYU, rather, named Marion Doc Smith. Yeah, I mentioned him. He was one of my writing teachers. And he actually had me the class go to LTUE the first time that I ever went. It was good. It was like, I don't know, it was 2000. I don't know. Was it 2001? It was probably 2001 or 2002. It's probably 2001. Anyway, so it was the 20th version of it or something like that. So that was cool. It was good. But I'm at this weekend. So I was there today. I moderated a panel called Paths to Publishing. A couple of journeyman authors were there, and it was really good to get their input. Troy Lambert and Gama Ray Martinez, and Stacy Olson. She is an editor for Immortal Works. We were to get two other fellers, but they weren't able to make it. So it was good, and I'm a really good moderator. I mean, I know how to do it. I've studied how to do it, and have made a deliberate effort to become a good moderator. And I got compliments on it, which is good. But it got me thinking maybe I should make a video presentation and put it up here on this channel, actually, on how to moderate a panel, specifically a panel. I think that could be helpful. So I'm probably going to do that. Rob's got a comment here. Okay, contemporary lit doesn't seem to have a huge following in self-pub. If I had to put money on it, your spec fic is a much easier sell, but I do believe there's value in falling passion. Yeah, and I think you're probably right, actually. My spec fic will probably go a little harder when I'm able to get the focus on it and stuff. But I'm writing what I want to write. And the thing I'm dabbling in with Carry Your Heart is that this is pure. It's while telling the story that needs to be told and finishing the story that I've been telling all along for these characters. It's a romance. I had to study Krista Jensen's class that I took years ago at Storymakers on the structure of romance books. And I've had to look it up, and I've looked up Victorine, I think it's Lesk or Lesky. She's one of the writing gals. She's very accomplished. Looked up some of her stuff about how to write a good romance story, and have been applying that stuff to this story because it really is structurally a romance story. Most of my books tend to be structured like a thriller, actually, but this is not. It's just not. So it's been fascinating and fun to do it, but I've also really loved it. And I think I'm good at it. So I think that I might start writing romance books, which is far from what I ever thought I'd want to do. I have often thought I should try to do it because of market and, the way how hungry that market is. But, I think that I could actually enjoy it. If I could find a good niche that I love and I'm interested in, I think I'll do it. And I'll have a pen name for it. And that brings me to really the last thing I have for tonight, unless you have more questions or thoughts, or just want to, shoot the breeze for a bit. I got some good advice over the last year, and most recently from Jana Stocks Brown. She's great. She was willing to just get on a call with me for about a half an hour, or nearly an hour, I guess. And she gave me a lot of really good advice. And she ultimately said, Jared, it's okay to write eclectically, but you can't market eclectically. That's interesting to me, and it really was a kind of a wake up call for me, because I'm always happy to write whatever I want. I love to write whatever's come to me. I've got some horror stuff that's been sitting in a file for a while. I've got romance, lots of thrillers, and espionage thriller series. I've got a bunch of fantasy that I'm still working on. She's like, yeah, again, it's okay to write eclectically, but if you want to market, you have to market in a focused way. So you probably want to consider a pen name. And I have considered a pen name once or twice here and there, and I've never really pulled the trigger. But she argued pretty convincingly for it, and so I went ahead and did that. Let's see here. Okay, yeah, Rob, every single one of your books has romance in it. I've read all, or I don't think I've read. I think you published a couple books with Covenant or Desert Book or something. I don't think I've read those, but your other ones I've read them all, and I quite enjoy them. And yes, there's little bits of romance, and then of course there's the actual romance. And then yeah, all my books have romance as well. I mean, people get crushes, people fall in love, people get preoccupied by the person or a person that they're attracted to. That's a part of life, and I'm trying to write real characters that people actually feel like they can identify with. So yeah, there's always romance in mine, but having Carry Your Heart be purely a romance has been a very cool experience for me. I've liked it. James questioned here. Let's see here. Have you thought about getting some graphic novels of some of your books? Yeah, I have. And will they ever be called keyboard names? I hope not, because that doesn't roll off the tongue, man. But it's a funny joke. So yes, I've thought about it, because I've actually had a small publishing house that's just getting started reach out to me and ask me if I would be interested in converting Beyond the Cabin to a graphic novel. And yes, I am interested in converting it to a graphic novel, in that I am interested in being paid for the rights by somebody to do it. And if I get paid to do it, I will go through and turn it into a graphic novel script, because it's fundamentally different. I mean, it's still telling a story, but it's much more telegraphic, because there's so much story being filled in by pictures. Beyond the Cabin is 88,000 words, I think. You can't put that much in a graphic novel. You have to really trim it down. And so I don't even know how to do that. So I need to get paid before I'm going to jump into this pool of learning how to write a graphic novel script and convert a book into a graphic novel script. I mean, it's a very tempting thing. I mean, with all the great, good YA and middle-aged graphic novels that are out there that are telling really beautiful stories, Shannon Hale's Real Friends, New Kid, all those good books. We've got a lot of them here. There's a market. You're right, man. It's a good thought, but I'm writing my new stories. I'm not gonna. I can't do that unless I know I'm gonna get paid. So yeah. Lacone or Beat, yeah, I think that they'd also be interesting graphic novels or comics. I also think that both of those would make really good TV shows or movies. So once again, my priority is finish what I'm working on project-wise, writing-wise, and then divide into two categories, two pen names, one being just me, Jared Garrett, and the other being this new one, which you see here on YouTube, Jerry Ironspear, which was quite a lot of thought and tinkering with. I actually settled on a different one, and within 24 hours had changed it. So I'd settled on it and talked to my family, and they were like, yeah, that's a good one. And it was Gerald Irons. So Gerald has a resonance with the name Jared, but it also is what I was called a lot when I was a kid, because Jared was a less common name. So Gerald made sense. And I was also called Jerry and Gerard. And then Irons, I like it because it resonates. It's kind of harkens back to an old persona I had long time ago, before I went fully myself on the internet. But as I said, told people, I'm going with Gerald Irons. There was always this little thing like, I don't think so. I felt a little bit of it as quiet. And so I chewed on it some more, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go on the nose. I'm going on the nose. This is speculative fiction, sci-fi, and mostly fantasy. Iron Spear it is. And it makes sense for Iron Spear because iron still. And Garrett means with a mighty spear. So it's just there. Anyway, I'm happy with the name. I think it's funny and weird and probably memorable. And I think that that'll be good. And that's pretty much it. The process of, launching a pen name for existing books is somewhat complex. And there's a certain kind of Not necessarily you have to follow a certain order, but to keep things efficient, it helps if you follow an order to it. And actually, Jana Stocks Brown gave me just a step-by-step list of how to do it. So I'm working on it now. I can do most of it myself, almost all of it actually, if not all of it. No, I've had to be very creative on Photoshop. That's right. I can't do all of it now. So I've got to change all my covers, right? And then I've got to change the interior copy so it's not Jared Garrett anymore. It's Jerry Ironspear. And then it's a great name. Hey, thanks, James. I think so too. Yeah, so there's just a bunch of steps to follow, and to make sure Amazon doesn't frick you up as you change, the title, the author on a book. So that's interesting. But I've already dabbled a little bit in pen names because I released two nonfiction books at the end of the year last year in 2022. One being an academic writing workbook, which I think is great. And I will just show you. I think I showed people last time. Yeah, it's really simple, really simple. But as you see, the pen name there is J. Nathan Garrett. So I put that on as the pen name, and it's very short. It's like 20 pages, 25 pages, ish. It's good. It gets right to the point. It helps people understand and crack the kind of the pattern for writing academic essays. Then I also released a uplifting gospel related something, which I priced it to sell on Amazon, but I'm not going to be pushing it. I'm not going to try to sell it. I'm a little uncomfortable with trying to make money off this. This is a bunch of talks and articles that I wrote and have delivered. So I've got a pile. I'm just going to be handing them out to people. If somebody expresses interest, I'm just going to give it away. I'm not going to say no to somebody buying it, but I'm just not comfortable with marketing that book at all. I don't like that notion of making money off of people's faith. The thing is, the church is really good at merchandising things, but it's not merchandising for frivolous reasons all the time. Some of it is, there's cost to provide scriptures and all the other materials that are associated with our faith, in company with our faith. And so, but there are people who I think who go a little far on merchandising people's faith. Anyway, I'll stop there on the faith thing. That's pretty much it, man. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Looks like we've lost a couple of you already. That's okay. Tell your friends and tell your neighbors. I really need more subscribers for this channel. That's why I'm doing these now, is to get, be more connected to my friends and my readers and people who are interested. And I'm trying to build a bit more momentum pretty intentionally now as I get ready to launch a couple of books. I think hopefully starting March and then April. Yeah, I'm excited about it. I don't think there's anything else to say. There'll be a website for Jerry Ironspear as well. There is one that exists. It's not ready yet. I tried to do it myself, and I ended up having to pay somebody. And he's going to come and fix it up for me. Real quick heads up. Tomorrow I'm at the signing at LTUE at 7. It's at Provo Marriott. Come by, or send your friends by, send your family by if you're not in the area. And also on Saturday, I'm doing a couple things programming wise. I am on a panel about whether or not you should whether or not you should do a podcast. That's it. And then I'm also doing a presentation at 3 p.m. on Saturday that is basically breaking down my experience on The Hustler a couple years ago. I've got the presentation. I've got the video all segmented and the time to start and stop. And I'm going to break down what I was doing and the strategies I was using to completely destroy people on that show. So, okay. Can I put a link to those events? I can put a link to LTUE. It's just to the website, so that there'll be details about the conference there. Yeah, happy to do it. Let me grab it here while I'm on and while you're there and stuff. LTUE. Okay. So again, Life, the Universe, and Everything Symposium. LTUE.net. Here it is. So there's this one. That's LTUE. And, if you go into... if you go into the schedule there's a lot of stuff. Program book or the grid schedule. The grid schedule is kind of fun, kind of interesting. I can just link you to it. It's a PDF. So, do what you want to do if you want it. That's the grid schedule. There's a lot that goes on there. It's I'm a little disappointed in that it seems like for a long time it was trending towards becoming a writer conference. I think it's moving away from that finally again, which is great because it's supposed to be a symposium for all things geekery. That's what it started out as, and that's what it was meant to be. So I'm glad to see that they're making different tracks, gaming and other things. I would love it if they'd make like biology tracks and stuff like that, or linguistics tracks, or just science, because I don't know how many presentations they'd want. Anyway, and I also would be totally okay with them paying their guests and special guests. So I don't know if they. You're welcome, Jamie. I don't know if they pay their special guests. I'm not a special guest. I'm just a guest. But at least it's just down the road and doesn't take too long to get there. Anyway, I'm going to sign off. I think that covers all the bases and bets. Thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate your good friendship and your yeah. I mean, I agree, Rob. It's sad to see such a, I don't know, such an institution seem to start to lose its way. Hopefully they can. I wouldn't be surprised if it's connected to budgetary issues. They're still not charging very much for everything that's involved. They're not charging very much at all. So anyway, I'm gonna run. I'm gonna go hang with the fam. I'm probably gonna have second dinner because I made a really good dinner and ate it quick so I could get up here. But yeah, you guys are great. I appreciate all you do and all your friendship over the years. You're pretty rad, and that is the stream. Bye, and stay well, guys. Good night.